I'm here with Luke Selleck, the one and only.
Alrighty, I'm here with Monty Alexander, and we're here at Piano in Midtown, New York, a place we've gotten together to rehearse and play and have fun before.
That's right.
So today we were just going to do something a little different and just talk about music and see what happens and see where it goes.
Let's see where it goes. All right.
Did you play piano or accordion first?
I played the piano first.
Piano first.
Yep, the piano, old, grand, upright piano was in the home. And I gravitated towards it from I was a very young, 3-year-old, 4-year-old kid. Don't remember well, but I just started smiling. I hit notes and wow, I made my own noises, I felt good about it. So that was my first music instrument. But not long after that, if I saw a guitar or a trumpet or anything, I just wanted to be able to make a sound with all these other instruments. And a few years go by, and having an accordion was wonderful, because even though you had to pump it and it was heavy when you're like maybe 8 years old, you could go from place to place with it.
Yeah.
It was literally the first portable piano that I encountered before the advent of the plug-in keyboards, right?
Right.
So that's how I would get around to go play with the folk musicians in Jamaica, where I'm from.
Right.
The accordion, what I remember at school, I would bring it to the school because I had the idea to start a band with some of my school friends.
Yeah.
They weren't into music as I was, a couple of them maybe took piano lessons and such, but I was more the crazy piano playing kid.
Right.
And I became like the troop leader. Said, let's play songs, like rock and roll songs we heard on the radio.
Yeah.
And the accordion, I started playing the accordion with them, and I even ended up recording with a little group.
Yeah.
With 4 other fellas. One guy playing guitar, another guy tuned his guitar down to a bass note.
Yeah.
The E go down to the C or what have you.
Right.
And then somebody beating on a cardboard box or something. So it was a band. And
was that the first Monty and the Cyclones?
That's right.
That's what it was, okay.
But before that, I had actually, or along that same period, I used to sneak out of school, much to the chagrin of the school teachers, because I wasn't into this classroom stuff.
Yeah.
I was already preoccupied with playing music.
Right.
And I was welcomed into the world of the older musicians, and I would go to this recording studio to play on these early recording sessions of like the groove music, which was a Jamaicanized version of Louis Jordan's blues thing,
Right.
And it just became a different groove, and the Jamaican people loved it, and they danced to it, and they started calling it ska.
Can you give us just like kind of a flavor of like what some of these things sound like, or?
All right. Well, the first kind of music among them, other than playing little tunes, making them up, Mary Had a Little Lamb, or whatever, these little children's songs,
Yeah.
I would just have fun with the piano, I'd scare myself by doing this. Like a horror movie.
Right.
And I could scare myself, like, or I could, the birds are in the tree, So the piano became this create sounds.
Right.
It's not just melodies and notes, so it's sounds. And
feelings.
Right. And some of the first stuff I did, because I love the rhythm, right?
Yeah.
Now, if you don't know the notes and how to change the key or the chords, the black notes. Right? So that's Louis Jordan,
Right.
He used that, call it boogie beat.
Yeah.
It was just blues. And the blues music, bam, got down in my whole being when I started hearing some of those records on Jamaican radio.
Right.
Well, Jamaica is the island of folk music, calypso, island rhythms and all that. But at the same time, we're hearing American radio stations, New Orleans, just like the New Orleans people are hearing it.
Right.
Or Miami. It's coming through the airwaves from Miami, New Orleans, Chicago, and you're picking it up, and I'm hearing this music that, wow, what's that? I'm grooving, I'm shaking, and I go to the piano, and I'm making it up. And I remember that was something I loved to do, is just play play blues, you know?
Right.
And I was having fun playing boogie woogie. That kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
And I'd go fast. All that, you know.
Yeah.
And I started to do that. And wow, how did I do that? You know, I could do it real fast, vigorous.
Yeah.
And a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
So what happened, this kind of rhythm, blues, I mentioned Louis Jordan's name because he was the most popular guy
on the radio
using it, and it made fun. It was a fun music when he sang, and there was a lot of clowning, of course. And when you're a kid, you see the guy clowning, you're not serious, you're having fun.
Yeah.
It's the same reaction I had for my first real jazz master, Louis Armstrong.
Right.
Because he was having fun. Everybody started laughing, you know. But he played the trumpet like, man, you guys playing the trumpet, right?
Right.
So Louis Jordan brought this upbeat, happy thing. And I do that on the piano myself. But when it got to the Jamaican temperament in the rhythm, instead of that, I found that syncopation thing in that.
Right.
It kind of, you would hear something.
Okay, yeah.
And it becomes this whole different thing, and that flavor got more heard and played. And when they released these early recordings in Jamaica and sent them out to the public, they loved dancing to that. Man, having a ball, and people, I remember I would see them dancing, you know, folks like at what they call the sound system. So this whole collection of music. On top of that, my folks at home had these semi-classical records.
Yeah.
Where you hear, there was an artist that played commercial, I guess, easy listening, and he's playing all these beautiful melodies, and his name was Mantovani.
Right, okay.
I don't know, for all I know, he was from Brooklyn, you know. But, you know, he's playing, and my mother loved those swooning songs. In addition to that, the radio is playing country western kind of cowboy. I love the western songs.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
So you know those from the radio or from actually going to the movies or TV or?
A combination. You heard some of it on the radio because people like Eddie Arnold, you may not know that name, or people like, how much is that doggy in the window? You hear these kind of songs, and they're, you know, popular, fun songs. You know, you're hearing that on the radio because they're popular in America, and they're playing that on this one radio station, not 10.
Right.
So I hear that, but also I started to go to the Western movies on a Saturday. It was a fun thing for me and my school chums.
Yeah.
And we talk about that particular cowboy star who's a cool guy, you know. You know, he's the fastest draw because in those days we talked about gun shooting. Of course, you don't talk that way anymore. You know, that's against the system. Dangerous, guns, no. But we had the cap gun. Pop, pop, pop. Totally. And that was big. You go to the movie theater, especially on Saturday, you and the other guys, and you're sitting there, start shooting at the screen. So it was a whole fun thing that you're doing. And then along came some of those guys with these songs that I could sense nature.
Sure.
Like this thing. And one of the first songs you would hear was Roy Rogers was this movie, Cowboy Star, that became one of my biggest heroes. A lot of us at that time, and I mean mid-50s, right?
Yeah.
And there's this one song called Happy Trails.
Yeah.
And I said,
right.
It's the horse.
Right.
And this thing, and I would do that on the piano. And all the Western songs, I would play them on the piano.
Right.
And I'd dream. I'm out west riding on a beautiful Palomino horse and this whole child stuff. So the piano was a source of fun entertainment for me.
Right.
And when my mother said, you got to go to the piano teacher and I'll really get better with the classical, because she had aspirations of me being really, accomplished or something.
Sure, yeah.
I didn't care about that. I didn't want to be accomplished. I just want to have fun. You know, and the teacher, am I going ahead of
this? Is good.
Is it?
Yeah.
The teacher, the piano, she was a Jamaican lady, but British influence, you know. And this is before independence came to Jamaica.
Sure.
No big revolution or any of that kind of political stuff. But later on, they had some issues. But the British kind of pulled back, and it became independent. And I left Jamaica before that happened.
Yeah.
So I'm growing up with British influence. And when they had the music teachers, they were so enamored with the British system.
Yeah.
Maybe in Canada there was some of this.
There is some of that, yeah.
Right.
Royal Conservatory is what I had to do, yeah.
And this one teacher wanted me to excel to the point that I would end up at the Royal Academy of Music in London.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to London in the Royal. I want to have fun, man.
Right.
So this wonderful, I call it gift, came to me where music meant enjoyment.
Yeah.
And I saw it in the local musicians in Jamaica. Yeah, they're having fun, you know. Nobody's agonizing, you know.
Right.
I'm not knocking that, but
right.
that's fine too.
Yeah.
But I was really enjoying the piano and try to keep my ego out of the way, because as I'm playing, I notice people are applauding and, yeah, man, swinging, whatever, you know. But it's just a collection of all kinds of music, and the piano represented how to create those different scenes.
Yeah.
And also the incredible thing that it could connect with people. I found this out from I was very young. So I could fake classical music, and I didn't know the proper thing.
Yeah.
But I could, you know. I'm Chopin, man.
Right,
But I'm jive Chopin, because I'm making it up, right?
Right.
You know. I fake it.
Right,
so
right.
I'll make it up, you know, and I'm not, how can I be serious about something I'm just emulating for fun, you know?
Right.
So, and then the movies also, when you go to the movies and you see on the screen this little romantic scene or a dangerous scene, the music that those arrangers on the score, they would create some sounds that would emphasize that feeling. Like if there's a love scene and you start to hear some kind of pretty song, I love you, baby, you know, you and me for the rest of our lives and all that, right?
Yeah.
Or if it's something, I've noticed you heard it. Right. That's like danger, man.
Right, yeah.
So the piano is this, create moods and colors and anyway, that was it. But as far as practice, I couldn't practice, because if I'd stayed at the piano to try to practice, even at a young age, I get a backache. So I never was a practicer.
Okay.
I'd go there for fun.
Yeah.
You know, I would play my boogie woogie, you know. Hey, my fly, baby. I'm singing blues. Yeah. I'm making it up. Like I'm one of those guys from Mississippi or Chicago. So I just fell into all the different music styles, and it was number one approach, one concept. It was just whatever I liked,
right?
You know, and I loved harmony.
Yeah.
And I would hear back in the movies saying, you know, you hear this different. I found out later you had Elmer Bernstein and Dimitri Tomkin, and later on, you know, the composers. You know, you hear them creating, and you would hear beautiful. Love, that's like a river. Just make it up. I'm making it up.
Yeah.
You know, nobody showed me. In fact, this might sound a little stilted, but I never got a lesson, or I just used to watch other people play. So I pick it up by watching. Whatever I picked up is because I saw somebody playing in a bar, in a club, and I'd go home and I'd try to create that myself. You know?
Right.
So whatever I got is kind of self-taught.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that.
It seems, you know.
Yeah, because that classical piano teacher only lasted what, a year or two for you?
I guess, you know, but she could feel I wasn't enjoying the experience, you know, and she did this usual thing they do. They have a ruler and hit you on your knuckles. Yeah. And I don't want hitting, man. I wasn't going to bop her.
Right.
But I wasn't so happy about being, and then you should this and you should that. And then when she had me playing Bach, you know, I'm saying, you know, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm just making it up,
right,
you know.
Right.
This guy named Bach, he's just like he's making it up, you know.
Yeah.
Just make it up, you know. So that was it for me, you know. And then I heard some of the piano players that I heard in so-called jazz.
Yeah.
And not only that, they put in the groove on the thing,
right.
You know. And that was a big part of my thing. Go play, honky-tonk blues, You see?
Yeah.
That's that. But all in all, just a wonderful, you walk into if you like candy, and you walk into the store,
yeah,
it's a bowl of jelly beans.
Right.
They got the purple one, they got the yellow one, they got the one tastes like butterscotch, you got the one tastes like this, like that. Is a bowl of jelly beans, this thing called music, the piano. So, and each note is like a surprise in the Cracker Jack.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So, and also, I love to see, I just like to see musicians play. And in Jamaica, we had the folk musicians, and they called it, the radio people said calypso.
Okay.
But they have, the name is mento.
Mento?
And I would go to the piano and you say, I just make. So that language, and when I play that, I see Jamaica.
Right.
I see the people talking like that. In Jamaica, the people that talk so. Is that not a language? I'm right back there.
Right.
When I play that song, if I play whatever I'm playing, that mood takes over.
Right.
That sound like a nut.
No, so was that kind of like more old time guys that were singing it? Like, is it guitarists? Is it singers? Is it?
Yeah. Well, they had these bands, the mentor bands, and they would sing for the tourists. They loved to hear it, and a lot of the songs were risque.
Right.
Kind of like naughty.
Right.
And the tourist people, they loved the naughty little songs, giggle, right? And they'd be singing those songs, all these different songs that had a rude aspect to them.
Sure.
What's the word?
Off color.
Off color and all that, But that was fun, man.
Right.
Give me another drink. And they started drinking the rum, the tourists,
Right.
And that was a tradition. I would take the accordion, and they'd see me and say, "Hey, little boy, come play the flute." I couldn't call it accordion, I called it the flutina. Why, I don't know. Little boy, come bring the flute here, man. Play, because they knew I knew what to do. So
and how old were you at this point?
7, 8.
Yeah, 7, 8 years old. Okay.
And I'm pumping the thing. Man. I don't care. I'll go through the pumping, this horrible experience, pump, for the joy.
Right.
Not only of playing it, but playing with these guys who are older than me.
Right.
And the fact that they're giving me a good feeling gave me a real proud, man, I'm there.
Yeah.
Because they accepted me.
Yeah.
In fact, I had a strong, sorry to say it, negative thing about being around guys my age. I want to be around the older people. Mm-hmm. So if I picked up anything, I was picking it up from my elders, my heroes with music.
Right.
And I loved the country people, the people that weren't sophisticated and gone to academy.
Right.
I was already loving just roots people,
Yeah.
And learning from that. I'm learning from everything, but I'm not studying, I'm just picking it up,
You're right. And so you're doing that, but then with your school friends and Monty and the Cycles and stuff, are you playing like dances, or what are these kind of gigs that you're doing?
Hey man, some of this stuff, but I'm hearing the popular songs on the radio.
Right.
Elvis Presley songs.
Right.
And 1 for the money, 2 for the show, everything. Don't you go? Remember my blues? I'm with all that,
Right.
And I loved Bill Doggett, this particular blues musician that. And our Little Richard was a big favorite of mine, And I started to remember. doing that. And I do it in every key. I go, you know, all these bass lines.
Yeah.
You know, that they... One thing I didn't like when I started getting around mostly in America, not in Jamaica, the jazz guys, I noticed a heavy dose of, I can only call it snobbery.
Right, okay.
Because if you were playing music that related to, may have been the rhythm and blues guys, they're beneath us.
Right.
You know, and I never had that. I always felt, man, it's all good. If you tap your foot, you're grooving, it's all good.
Yeah.
And I think I brought that attitude the first time I played with Ray Brown, who was considered the swingingest, greatest big note bass player. We had first time I played with him, we were rocking. Because he was relating to that too.
Yeah.
You know?
What was the story? How did that come about again?
I was in Los Angeles, and like a lot of people at the time, and I'm one of the youngest of them all, I saw Ray as a whole band in himself. He brought this larger than life attitude when he was playing and he's swinging. He's playing like I feel at the piano. So he was on a television show in LA. And I knocked on the door of the Merv Griffin show. It was like Johnny Carson. It was a talk show. And I knew he was there. And I'd met him in New York already a few months before that. This is like 68.
Sure.
And they said, yeah, I'll tell Ray, what's your name? I said, it's Monty, the guy from New York, Jamaican, da-da-da. And he told Ray, hey, how you doing? You know, I said, come on. And I went into the studio and I'm hanging out with him. And I asked him, I said, you playing in LA anywhere tonight? He said, yeah, I'm playing at this little place. It's not really a jazz club, but I'm playing with some guys, some great guys, friends of mine. And the drummer was one of the most popular guys in the LA area, his name Frankie Cap. There was Frankie Cap, the guitar player named Mundell Lowe, who was well respected in the area. And the piano player, and I'm always reluctant to call his name, but I'll tell you why. When I went to see them that night, he left my name at the door at that club. And I went in the club, and it was one of these places that had two sections. One section was like a meeting place, and all the Hollywood people hanging around, talking shop, and dressed with nice clothes. And there was a little bar on the side. That's where those guys were going to play a couple of songs. Frankie Cap, Mundell Lowe, Ray, and the piano player. And I went in there, and they were on an intermission. And I mean, hey, how you doing? Because I'd already played in LA at a place, the Playboy Club. I played there. And I know some of the local musicians, but Ray was like this king of the whole thing, right? And they were just on a break. Ray was playing pool. He was a good pool player. And everybody waiting to have a little drink. And he went and said, all right, guys, well, let's just play 1, 2 and wrap it up. There's nobody here to hear the last song, the last session. And they all picked up their instruments, went to the thing. Mundell picked up the guitar. Frankie sat behind the drums. The piano, nobody. Because the piano player had too much to drink at the bar. It was like... Piano is sitting there by itself. And I called on my, spunk. And I just walked up to the piano. I said, I'm going to play. And Ray said, okay. Because we struck up a friendly thing already. I didn't go to him asking him for anything. I just be friendly. You know? Okay. He just kind of, something said, he could have been one of those other people who says, oh, you can't sit in there. That's for, you know. But he said, come on. And we started playing some blues or whatever. And I remember I tell the story. He starts getting excited because I'm bringing whatever that instinct is that he's loving because I'm playing with him while he's playing with me. And we're just swinging. Old school. And the other musicians, they get caught up in it. And it was a magical moment when you talk about what can happen as far as meeting people. And we played for like, 5-10 minutes. And after that, I didn't say a word. And all I heard him say, he says, where are you going to be in the summer? Because his voice would go up when he was excited. I said, what he says? And he says, I want you to come play with me and Mill Jackson. Just like that. So that was really a magic moment for me to play with people that were not only great musicians, but nice. You know, I always gravitated to nice people. And so anyhow, that's how I met him. But it was all because of that instinct and what I call when the rhythm is really alive, you know, you're swinging. A word I'm not hearing that much anymore.
So, like, Do you think that is something that could be taught, or do you think you're born with it, or do you think you catch it from someone else, or how does that work?
Well, it's like when I think about people in the church, if you get the spirit,
right?
You can't deny it. You can't explain it. You can't think it's just something compels you, and you feel this. It's about faith. But I love the phrase when it says faith is not a feeling; it's a fact, right? And it's just different experiences, one on top of another, and you build up a sense of value for this unspoken miracle called swinging.
Right.
When that everything's locked, and it's like I tell people when the cockroach is coming out of the corner, he's dancing, man. The rat, he's swinging, he's dancing because that thing is so powerful that you get caught up in it.
Right.
And it's like when people are in the spirit.
Yeah.
And I saw that happen, and it happened with me eons of times. On the bandstand. And when you had that happen a few times, you keep looking for it again.
Right. Yeah. Is there any way to like help make sure it happens, or is it just one night it does, one night it might not?
The music scene, no, there's not. If you never know.
Yeah.
I heard people who play golf. They're caught up with golf.
Yeah.
They're always trying to get the hole in one.
Yeah.
They got it last week and they can't get it this week, and they're frustrated. So it's this elusive, magical thing. It's like grabbing the wind.
Right.
But the best thing you can do is not, I don't know, you got to think positive.
Yeah.
You got to stay in love with it.
Yeah.
And it'll come to you.
Right.
But also, if you're going to be influenced by music, listen to certain things that are about that, because we're impressionable. And for me, I'd hear the rhythm and blues bands, but I love the Count Basie Orchestra.
Yeah.
You hear that clock,
but
it's not a clock, clock, clock. It's got the rhythmic thing is there, And I've been told that that's what I do when I play. And if spirit start moving me, cockroach start dancing.
One of the phrases that you tell to me all the time is that you say that you don't own it.
I don't own it.
What does that mean?
That means that I don't own it. It's a gift.
Okay.
And you can't explain the gift.
Right.
And I kind of wonder how some people think they can explain it. And I said, hey, good that you can explain it, because I'm a practitioner somewhat, and I can't explain it. So we have to remain humble, because I don't own it. And the word is gift.
Right.
I didn't deserve it. I didn't own it. And it's not because I worked hard to get it. No.
Right.
I just had to keep an open attitude and don't take myself too seriously.
Right.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
But immerse yourself in beauty, in positive, and accept the fact that not everything is beauty. There's raunchy. There's there's stuff that you don't want to happen, but it's a part of the framework,
Yeah.
So this music is, you can't explain it. I can't explain it, and I just admire the guys who can.
Right.
I don't know. I say, how can you explain a bird in flight? How did that flapping of a wing, you're over there?
Yeah.
Even a Boeing 707, how did that hunk of iron and metal get up in the air?
Yeah.
You can't explain it.
Right.
You can analyze it.
Yeah.
So you can analyze Coltrane all you want.
Right.
You can't explain it.
No, that's true. I agree.
It's a miracle.
It is, yeah.
And I keep that in mind. So this music is a gift, and it brings people together. It brings joy. So I consider myself an alchemist. That if I do it and I am able to do it well, it brings people upliftment. And it's a powerful feeling. But don't get carried away with it. Don't think you own it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Stay humble.
Yeah. And so then how does the audience factor into that equation or that mix for
There's
you?
nothing like when an elder, I'm going to try to compare it to what I'm about to say, pats you on the back. I said, you did good, kid.
Yeah.
You did good. And I've had my share of experiences with quote-unquote famous people who did that to me personally. Yeah. Frank Sinatra did it to me. Miles Davis did it to me.
Yeah.
Tony Bennett did it to me.
Yeah.
Oscar Peterson did it to me. These people who, it's like scary to say now because they're all deceased. Ahmad Jamal said it to me. And guess what it does? It gives you a thing called confidence.
Yeah.
It's not anything substantious, but it's a sense of like, hey, I'm doing all right. These people who have tried and true, accepted good artists are saying something, giving you confidence.
Yeah.
And if you surround yourself with that, but once again, don't take it like, you know, stay humble.
Yeah.
Yeah, you may say I'm great, but I got to stay humble.
Right.
I don't own it. It's a gift. Thank you for the compliment. And the audience is just one more person. When they clap and they go like standing ovation time.
Yeah.
That's like all those guys together. You know.
Yeah.
You made them feel happy so much so that they told you you're doing good.
Yeah.
I don't know what to put it.
I find it interesting that you were friends with Miles Davis just because his whole thing is so opposite from yours, like where your approach is so much about joy and bringing people in. He was turning away from the audience and being about being cool, but...
I think Miles was fooling everybody. He was having a hell of a good time.
Yeah.
And he was masking it.
Yeah.
I accuse him of that. He pulled it off very well because he's created this image of a man who was cynical.
Yeah.
And he found out that people are fascinated with that.
Yeah.
And more people came to see him.
Yeah.
Be less than smiley. You know?
Right.
And he used it. Not only that, like a lot of musicians who are excellent, they might be shy.
Sure.
And when you put up a facade that, you keep them off.
Right.
These are ideas I have.
Yeah.
But I knew him in a way where I sat around on many occasions, just he and I. And I never broadcast that to jazz writer people or being a part of the inner group, you know, the musicians that regularly played with them. I didn't go to this guy and say, hey man, I was hanging out with Miles. But here we are 40 years later.
Yeah.
I have no problem saying it, you know.
How did that start again? How did you...
I was playing at Jilly's, which is this club where Sinatra used to come.
Yeah.
And he came in there one night.
Miles did.
Miles with a couple of lovely women, you know, and he was dressed in suit and tie, very dapper, tight, you know. And he said that what was a horrible thing I called piano bar. I was playing at piano bar, but I had a crack team, changing gears and we swinging.
Right.
And it was a great bassist, Bob Cranshaw.
Right, yeah.
And I think Al Herwood was me, either Al or Mickey Roker.
Okay.
And we had it, count that tempo off and bam, you know. And I was playing the set and Bob said to me, Miles is at the bar. I said, he thought I was going to get self-conscious, and I wasn't feeling that way that night. And I played the set. I'm not remembering what I did, but he came over to me at the end of that 30-minute little set, and he that raspy voice, and he said, "Where you learn to play like that?" Simply, look, I don't look it.
Right.
Not only that, I'm barely 22 at the time. But guess what? Miles was one of those people who could see in a young guy, like he did with Tony Williams at 18.
Yeah.
You know, Jimmy Blanton was 19 with Duke Ellington, so sometimes the younger guys, they already get a hold of that thing. So he saw that and he invited me to come to his apartment. And I did. And I would go up there hanging out with him and we talked about boxing, because I like boxing. And just hanging out, you know, nothing specific. I mean, once he had me play something for Gil Evans, not Bill, Gil, who came over to the apartment. Yeah. And they went down to the basement where he had a second-rate piano. Yeah. It was not grand, or it was like a Wurlitzer, and it was sitting down there. Right next to it was a punching bag, right? Yeah. It's Jim. Right. And he called me. I was upstairs, just kind of, I don't know. He said, "Hey, man, come on down." I said, "Okay," and I went down to the stairs, you know, like the pirate stairs, go down like that. And there was Gil Evans, I met for the first time. And he said, "Man, play something." Okay. And I'm kind of saying, "What's he up to?" Because man of mystery, right? Yeah. And I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "Play me something about here." And he snapped his finger like it was a knife. You know, pop, pop. I said, "Okay." And he, you know, I said, "I don't have a band." He said, "You know, give me a tempo." So I think I knew what he liked. Yeah. It is the way you feel the rhythm. Yeah. I was play the standard, I don't know. And the way you put the rhythm in the left hand.
Like what?
Like, you know, I can't say, you know. Yeah. the way you put that.
Right.
You either goose it or you kill the groove.
Okay.
And I got a hold of that.
Right.
And I heard the big bands. I heard the Count Basie Orchestra. So I'm my own Count Basie band.
Yeah.
The rhythm is there. The other big influence on me was Mr. Ahmad Jamal. Because when he would voice his left hand, play the left hand, he did it in a way where the beat, I'm talking about the rhythm now.
The rhythm of how he played his left hand?
His left hand was very vital as to whether the thing is going to pop.
Right.
And so I go to the piano and I start playing that, and he's standing right behind me with Gil. And I did it for like, yeah, and he's tapping his fingers, you know? And he says, all I heard him say to Gil once was, see what I mean? And I'm not sure exactly what that was about, but apparently I was demonstrating to him how he wanted Gil Evans to orchestrate the horns when they were playing behind him. And he made these big band records with Gil Evans.
Yeah.
Can't remember. One was Sketches of Spain, one was Porgy and Bess.
Yeah.
And there was another one. And
Miles Ahead?
Miles Ahead, maybe.
Yeah.
Right. And it had to do with how he placed the beat on it, but you have to feel it to do it.
Yeah.
You can't. To me, any of that stuff, you got to feel it to play.
Can't write it out necessarily.
You can't write it out. You write it. And here's something not to demean, but he tried to get Red Garland to do that.
Okay.
And Red did it okay, I guess.
Yeah.
You know, and it was always important to him to have that feeling.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And as you know, well, this is psychological stuff now. Miles got bored very easily. With what he would do. Yeah. He was he's a personality, and I know the feeling. I'm doing something after a while, I get bored. Something new, right?
Yeah.
And he kept doing that. Like he was doing something wonderful for 3 years, different musicians that were fabulous. And he, as a catalyst, they made music a certain way. Yeah. You know? But then after a while, he's I'm tired of this.
Yeah.
He had to get something new.
Scrap it and start with something new.
Something new. Yeah. And then after Red Guy, he found a guy that instant was swinging. It was Wynton Kelly.
Right.
So there's Wynton. Right? And then came after that another guy who got a hold of that feeling. I don't know if he played it like that, but he feel it was Herbie Hancock. Right. So Herbie picked up right there. And then on top of that, he's got all this harmonic amazement. He's playing those chords. What chord is that? But it's matching. Right. And Miles is loving it. And you hear the love in the music. Yeah. The relationship with him and Ron Carter with those beautiful notes with that unamplified bass. Yeah. So it was a case of a guy who had to keep doing something new. New, but it would have impact. And then after that, then for me, it changed because what happened? It became electric. Right. And once you go electric, you're kind of getting in the way of the natural air coming out of the F hole of the bass or the piano. Yeah. And you got the monitor and you got jacked up the guitar and then you gone into this thing called rock and roll. Yeah. But the rock and roll that influenced him included the guys from England who were okay, but they weren't like Chuck Berry or Little Richard. Right. Anyway, I'm saying all this. That's just me blabbing away.
Yeah. I mean, when you're talking about you're a kid and doing these different things and having fun, was there a moment where it just clicked in, like, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life? Or was it just like one thing?
I never went for it. And it's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. I was just trying to get through the day. Yeah. I wouldn't start looking ahead. You know, I just knew it was wonderful to be able to come to America, which happened just by my mother deciding we're going to go to America. We have nice opportunity. I went to America. I had no idea I would get a job playing the piano. Right. I had no idea that I, who was playing around Kingston and having fun, could come to America and be qualified to get to play in this big America. But guess what? Yeah. I met this guy who tried to book me around because he saw me sitting in a club and I was swinging, I guess.
In Miami Beach, this is?
In Miami Beach. And he served me, and next thing you know, he said, I can get you jobs. And he helped to get me in the Musicians Union. Okay. And he got me a gig playing at a place near the Miami airport. Okay. The Airliner Motel.
Airliner Motel, wow.
The guy's name was Max Fisher. Okay. He had this club, and just me and a bass player. Yeah. Ironically, the bass player's name was Jay Brown. Not Ray Brown, okay. Jay Brown. He had a goatee, and I remember I met his wife, his dear wife, and that's the first time I saw somebody with numbers from a concentration camp.
Oh, wow.
He married this woman, nice, they were kind to me, and they liked me. I'm playing, I'm a nice kid. I'm like 17. 18, just of the age
Yeah.
to be able to play.
Yeah.
I thought you had to be over 21, but I think it was 18.
Okay.
So he gets me this gig. I'm playing with Jay, and then next gig at another place I got a drummer and another bass player, and I'm starting to play around Miami Beach.
Right.
In these bars, most of them frequented and or owned by what we used to call the gangsters,
Right.
the mob.
Right.
Literally, not some movie script.
Right.
The real thing.
Yeah.
And I started playing around in these clubs and getting paid, and I'd bring the money home to my mother and say, "Look, I got a job here. It's $200 here." And I said, "Where'd you get that?" You know.
Right.
So that's my story. So I didn't go to a school to pursue it. It was just, I say it without any doubt that it was the grace of God.
Yeah.
Light shined on me, nothing special about me, but I just happened to be there when certain things happened, and I didn't throw it away. One night I'm playing in this club and Frank Sinatra saw me playing.
Right.
And he and his friend said, "Get this guy to come play at Gillies."
Right.
Which is where a lot of celebrities came.
Right.
And that's where Miles came in, because Miles liked to be where it was happening. It was
Right.
a cool place.
Right.
And in fact, it wasn't a jazz club. It was just a place where they liked to hang
out. Yeah.
And where if Sinatra was there, that was the king. He was the number one
Right.
entertainer, singing and the beautiful songs. And I asked Miles, you like how he sings? He said, "Yeah, I love when he sings the ballads."
Yeah.
Because you sing the ballads and you hear this, you know, so it's all, some people say serendipity, some people say magic. I just say grace of God.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing I was just thinking about is because you just talked about when you started and that joy of playing and just that childlike excitement. And it just seems that you didn't lose it. You know, you just still have it when you play. It's just joy, it's fun, and it's like the same thing. And
Yeah, thank you.
how do you keep that for a whole lifetime? Have there been times where it's been, you know, tough because
Well,
so many musicians get jaded or they get down on it, and for you it just seems so fresh every time?
Well, the gift is that I don't understand it, but if I see the piano notes,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking the good thoughts, I get a kind of a thrill.
Yeah.
I get excited, you know. Also, maybe sometimes I have that sense of like, I don't know. I tell people this because it sounds so weird to say it, but I say it because I don't know any music. I don't know music, proper things, and why. You know, I play a chord, and I'm going to tell you what chord it was.
Right.
The voicing, what was that? I don't know.
Right.
my hands feel the friendship with the piano. The piano was saying to me as a kid, "Come here, kid." And I still feel that sensation when I see a piano, especially these days when I see a 9-foot concert grand.
Yeah.
I say, "Man, look at that. This is like I'm about to climb aboard a 747.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's going to take off." And I'll be like, wow. I feel that way, in fact, when a 747 takes off.
Yeah.
I never get bored. I say,
Right.
damn, how'd that happen?
Yeah.
So it's a bowl of surprise,
Yeah.
of wonderment,
Yeah.
and a miracle.
Yeah.
And sometimes I say, it's magic.
Yeah.
So I'm a guy in the magic business.
Yeah.
Because I have no idea what I'm doing.
Right.
If I write it down, I explain it, I screw it up.
Right. It's got to just be new every time, kind of. Just,
Brand new every time.
Yeah.
And in fact, that's it. The other thing is, I would write down, I did that 2 nights ago, let me do that again.
Yeah. Doesn't
never
work. Yeah.
You try to repeat it. So I came to a conclusion, no sense ever trying to do what you did before. Because then people will come to see you play again.
Yeah.
And they say, it's different. I say,
Can't help
I
it.
can't help it.
Right.
I'm here tapping into whatever that is now. Because I have
Right.
so many angles and buttons to press. You know, what chord. Let me start with that song. And I'm grateful that I have this bass player guy play with me. You.
Yeah.
and,
Me too.
And you're right there. You know, I could
Along
go
for
here,
the
go
ride,
there,
yeah.
and we're going for the ride together. And
Yeah.
it's a privilege, you know. You and Jason.
Okay. Well, thank you.
I can't explain it, but it's really magic. You know?
Yeah.
So I have no technical information to tell a student except, you know, say prayers at night.
Yeah.
Do what your mom said. Brush your teeth before you go to bed. And be nice to your elders and respect one another.
Yeah.
And that's how you get the respect back,
Uh-huh.
hopefully.
Yeah.
And treat people how you want to treat them. You do all these things that they say you could do, and you'll have a better feeling about yourself. You know, you can't control everything, but if you have this music, remember, it's just a joyful gift.
That's awesome.
Making sense?
Totally. Yeah. I think that was great, man. I think this is kind of like a good landing place, man. Do you have anything on your heart that you want to just
I could start complaining, but I'll throw in some complaint. Now, this may be where you cut off.
Okay.
You ready for complaining?
Okay, let's go to the complaints.
The whole academy, conservatory, school thing about learning music has become such a presence.
Yes, it has. Yeah.
That it has removed whatever I was dealing with coming up from my early days playing in some bar, club, or concert hall in the early 60s, mid 60s, 70s, 80s, and as the years went by, this great thing called education came.
Yeah.
But the heroes of mine that made me come up with whatever I got were not the school-educated people.
Yeah.
They learned what they learned from one another, the camaraderie, or the lack of agreeing, the quarrel. Man, you owe me $5, give me.
Right.
And it was just people.
Yeah.
People enriching one another, and that's a part of like when you go play, you're expressing it somehow.
Yeah.
But when you got the school thing to the extent that it allowed certain well-meaning people to come along with that thing that says, I know what it is, this is what it is, this is what you should do.
Yeah.
And there ain't no one way to do it.
That's for sure.
It's a bunch of ways. And I tell people, and it's my little one clever thing I said, if the teacher told you this is that, all you're learning all this stuff, take half of it, yes, figure the other half out.
Yeah.
And that's how you become you.
Yeah.
If that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Because in the earlier days, and everyone would agree, you could hear a recording and you could tell who was drumming by the way he played the cymbal, or the pianist touch, the way he touched, you could tell.
Yeah.
A good bass player, the tone, how he touched it. And he wasn't doing it as an exercise. It was the feeling, And you have to find a way to get it out of the system.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it be.
Yeah.
Let that natural power take over.
Yeah.
Some people say a prayer.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
And I got some proof.
It worked.
Absolutely. The prayer thing came through like gangbusters.
Yeah.
Because I was inspired when I heard not just what my mother would say or the preacher, the priest, I'd hear, or the elders, they say things that were good, and you learn to discard the things that aren't good.
Yeah.
And keep that going, But you have to weed out the wheat from the chaff.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a phrase, I keep saying it, you got to deal with the donut, not the hole.
Right.
And if the hole is preventing you from telling that story, then get it out of there.
That's cool, yeah.
That's one of the complaining things about too much education, Because this music is like a bird flying.
Yeah.
When people are excited. And it happens in opera, it happens in painting, it happens in all artistic endeavors,
Yeah.
It's a gift.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. That's cool.
I think Duke Ellington would have agreed with that.
I think he would.
Anyhow, the main thing is we did good, right?
Yeah, this was great. Thank you so much, Monty.
Thank you so much, Luke.
You're the best.
One of these days I'll be interviewing you. Make it up.
That's beautiful.
Even when the clinker comes.
Thanks, Monty.
Yeah.